What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another round of the ICR Championships. I'm your host today, MMA Drive. Sadly, I have no co-commentator today, so it will be just me. But, hope we are in for a great race today. Welcome back to another round of the ICR Championships. So today we are here at China for round 3 of the championship. I've not kept up to date with the driver standing, so I do need to check that, as we have our first driver leaving the pits. It's the McLaren of Placky, I believe. So let's get all the telemetries display up. I'm trying to find the standings real quick. Sorry that it's taking a bit long. Finally found it. In the Tier 1 Championship, currently, typical leads, he got 3rd place in Australia and came out with a win last time out in Bahrain. So he is at the top of the championship. I don't believe he's racing today. So, he won't have a chance to... Actually, he is racing. He's right at the top of the leaderboard. I am blind. Sam Cole is in P2. He took 2nd in both races so far. He is currently 2nd in the championship. 3rd is FRA Placky, who won with fastest lap in Australia but hasn't raced since. And that's your top 3 there. They're pretty much the main contenders to watch out for. Not separated by that much relative to the rest of the field. Here we are as Placky heads around the final corner to start his flying lap. Okay, now I think I can focus better. But round turn 1, we go very, very long corner. Have to be very patient. Under braking now as he goes through turn 2. Clipping the apex nicely. I'm sorry I'm not zoned in right now. I'm still trying to check if this whole live thing is working. Okay. It's been tweeted on Twitter, but there's not been a notification in the Discord yet. But anyways, Placky seems to be on a pretty decent lap so far. Heading through the double left-hander now. He gets that hooked up pretty nicely on the exit. Red Bull in his way slightly. V-Test W won't make too much of a difference to his final lap time. 51.0 going through the middle sector. He is currently purple. The Alfa Romeo of Limpjet isn't able to top him just yet. We're going to put the tyres on, because not everyone will be going for a soft tyre run with their first run. They will be trying to go for the alternate strategy, which is what some drivers will be going for. Sorry for that tiny bit of lag. As FRA Placky heads through the hairpin, going down to gear 1, we might see a variation in gears going through that corner. Some people might use gear 2, some people might use gear 1. Placky's opted for gear 1, and he's gone into P1 with a 1:30.6 as the benchmark time. Limpjet isn't able to set his flying lap, and Tice W will be starting his hot lap now. 2D4210 heads around the final corner. Huge snap of oversteer and ends up spinning. He doesn't just crash, avoiding an Alex Albon, but he was very close to getting some major damage there. FRT Venom is going to be next across the line, heading through the final corner now. Across the line, it's going to be a 1:31.1, which puts him P2 currently in this qualifying session. I think AZX Flames is going to be the next driver to cross the line, heading through the final corner up to the line. It's a 1:33.0, which puts him P3. Typical F1 is next. He does a 1:33.6, so I don't think that is a representative lap time from him. AMS Max is next. He does 1:31.5, which puts him P3 on the grid so far. Pretty solid lap from him there. As a Leeson joins the lobby. Fingerboy, I think, will be next, or Sam Cole will be next. He puts a P3 on a 31.3. Placky is on a very good, has done a very good lap there. To open out his qualifying session, Tice, I think, is going to get a slight slipstream from Placky. He's going to get slipstreamed all the way down the straight. So Tice has got a very good shot at getting a very good lap time in here. He's got a slipstream all the way down the straight from Placky there. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but it could well be as he heads around the final corner. Tice heading up to and across the line. It's going to be a 1:32.0, which puts him P5. So even with that slipstream, he still hasn't managed to break into the top positions. Now, next person to cross the line will be 2DB. He has sadly invalidated his lap time, so he won't be able to finish that. I am lagging pretty hard right now. But yeah. FRT Evan is going to come into the pits as well. AZX Flames isn't on a lap. Typical F1 might be on a back-to-back lap right now as he heads around the final corner. It's a pretty nice line. He had to back off slightly hesitant to get on the throttle. 1:31.7 for the championship contender right now. Championship leader actually puts in P5 on the provisional grid. Fingerboy is next across the line. It's a 31.4 from him, which puts him P4 so far. I think someone else has improved on their lap. I'm not sure who it is. Bad F1 Opinion puts it P8 on a 32.5 with the medium tyres. Next person to cross the line will be Evan to start a flying lap. Technology enabled, yeah. So yeah, heading through turn 1 goes FRT Evan. We're going to watch on board of his lap. Let's see what he's able to do. A pretty competitive driver in this tier. He's currently on the medium compound of tyres. And through turn 2, the first 2 corners, really testing your patience on when to turn in and when to go on the throttle. And now heading down the straight at the end of sector 1, 24.7 for him. That's a purple sector 1 on the medium. Seems to be decently fast right now. A bit of snap of oversteer on the exit out of turn 6, I believe that's his. Now heading through the long left-hander and then diving into the next right, sort of like an S section. Now heading into the double left-hander. He really needs to get this hooked up nicely. So where you can get and lose a lot of time, and he has run wide there and invalidated his lap, so he won't be finishing this lap on that occasion. NUFC Ryan is going to be starting his lap in a second. AZS Flames is finishing a lap, but it's sadly an invalidated lap time, so we won't be able to watch that. I think Bad F1 Opinion is coming into the pits. Next person to cross the line must be Placky on his outlap. Limpjet, I think, he's on an outlap as well. I'm trying to look for someone that's on a flying lap. Tice seems to be on one. He has a huge oversteer moment on the exit of the long right hand. He's going to get a slipstream from his teammate all the way down the back straight. Seems to have backed off his lap because he is weaving down there. He had a very huge oversteer moment, which obviously wasn't going to help him in any way, shape or form. NUFC Ryan has made a mistake at the end of sector 1, which has forced him into a spin. FRT Evans starts his next lap of qualifying on the medium compound tyre. Let's see if he's going to be able to go any faster. Is there anyone on a lap right now that's coming towards the end of it? That's a Leeson going past the Mercedes of, I believe that's AMS Max? No, it's not AMS Max. FRT Venom it is. Next person to cross the line should be on a flying lap. There's barely anyone's on a flying lap right now. NUFC Ryan had that spin earlier, so he won't be on a lap right now. We've got FRE Leeson starting his lap. Let's go on board with him for his attempt of his first medium run, going through turn 2, going down to gear 1. You can see how much turning you have to get into there to hook up the corner nicely on the exit, using the curb very wisely there. See what the circular split is. It's 24.2, slightly faster than than Evan, I believe, on the exit there. Hooks up really nicely, not too much oversteer for him, not as much as Evan, who was also on the medium compound tyre on their first run, going through there using very high gears, tried to keep as much speed as possible going through those corners. Now short shifting on the exit of the first part of the double left-hander, now using all the space on the exit, has a slight oversteer moment. FRA Plaki improves by a few hundredths on his lap time, does a 130.607, heading through the end of sector 2, and now going through the long right-hander. Leeson seems to be on a pretty good lap time so far, and this could be challenging the top medium runners. Well, I think all of them have gone into the pits and tried to go for a lap on a different set of tyres. MX Seb has retired in the pit lane, I believe. So yeah, the top 10 are all on soft tyre runs. So Leeson right now should be the only person who could try to get into the top 10 on mediums. He does a 132.3, which puts him P11, which isn't the top 10 he wants to get on that occasion. FRT Evan hasn't put a lap together on those mediums, so he is struggling slightly, and he's obviously going for a very certain strategy, as he is repeatedly going on those medium tyres, considering how dead they're soon going to be. 130.8 from Sam Kohler, 130.9 from AMS Max, both very good laps from the two drivers there. Going back down the field, we've got FRA Leeson. I believe he's on a lap. That's not Leeson, actually, that's Plaki. He is not on a lap right now. He's going to be on his in lap and coming to the pits at the end of this lap. For a fresh set of tyres, a fresh set of soft compound tyres. Tudi has invalidated his lap as well. Limpjet is coming into the pits. Next person to cross the line on a flying lap, by their one opinion, seems to have gone to purple sector 2, but it doesn't seem like it. Very slightly starting sector 3, and obviously had that spin right there. I think Fingerboy might be on a lap right now, as he heads through the hairpin to nearly finishing his lap. MG says, "Where's my idol FOT go?" I don't know where he is, to be fair. I'm not even sure what tiers in. I haven't kept track of the tiers, I can't lie. Sam Cole now is coming into the pits as well. Most people are not going to be on the lap times, they're just going to be coming into the pits. I think Easy X Flames might be on a lap. He's currently 2.8 tenths up on his lap time currently, so heading through the double left-hander now. He seems to have hooked it up pretty nicely. Yellow flag behind him shouldn't affect him too much. Now heading into the left-hander to start sector 3. It's a 7/10 up on his lap time. I didn't get to see the sector split itself, but it seems to be a decent lap for him so far. 7/10 will currently put him P11 in front of Elison, which will put him in strategic pole position for the Grand Prix. Now heading down the back straight, I'm going to go late on the brakes down into the hairpin. Let's see if he's going to get it hooked up nicely. He's going to lock up and not going to go down to gear 1. Which is pretty interesting. He's probably used a bit more of his tyres than he needed to through there. Now he's going to back off his lap. He's going to head into the pits lane. APL Tellurium, I believe that's his name is. Comes around the final corner as FRT Evan joins the session. Comes across the line, and 143.2 from him. He's not showing representative pace currently. NEFC Ryan is on a lap time, 51.6 for him in the middle sector. That was his middle sector split. Heading down into gear 1, short shifting on the exit, going really wide, and he's just pushed slightly too hard. He's invalidated his lap time. He asked for a bit too much there and insisted that he can make the corner without getting a track limit invalidation, but it was a bit too much. Tice now, pretty weak final corner, as he didn't cut as much of the inside curb as he wanted to. 3/10 up. He managed to gain 3 tenths on his lap time. 31.6 for him, puts him P9 currently. on the starting grid. Tellurium's currently 1.25 tenths up on his lap. Now 9 seconds up on his lap time. As he did back off of it, it seems he did go very wide there, suspiciously. So I don't know how he didn't get invalidation for that, but you know, hey, it's F1 2021. But yeah. Anyways, Tellurium. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that name because. Anyways, yeah, heading into the final, into the hairpin. The penultimate corner, not the final corner. Short shifting on the exit, he puts a bit too much throttle down and spins on the exit. Next person to cross the line will be FRT JT on these final set of lap times. So he will be the one setting the benchmarker for these final set of laps. He will get 2 in a row if that's what he's going for. But the main man to watch right now, the main 2 people to watch are Placky and Sam Cole, who are both going at it pretty aggressively, and they both have a very solid chance to get pole position right now. And also, don't count out typical F1, as he's also in the chance of taking pole position here tonight. As Placky now, let's go on board with Placky for his what could be his final run in Q3, as Ties to W spins on the exit of the final corner and is out of the session, I believe. Here we go through turn 1. He has to be very patient there, getting a nice late apex. Now heading through 2, going down the gears, going down to gear 1. Now short shifting on the exit all the way up into gear 4 again. Really nice traction on the exit, maximizing the outside curb to gain as much time as possible. 23.9 from in sector 1. He's currently 600s up. He locks up and goes slightly deeper. A bit of oversteer on the exit though. Those could cost him crucial hundredths for pole position right now. Here going slightly over a bump there in the middle sector. Now going into the double left-hander. Seems to have his lap hooked up pretty nicely so far. Getting the apex really nicely on the end of that double left-hander, sorry. 51.0 for him in the middle sector, only 300s up, so he did lose a bit of time going through the middle sector. Very, very slidey middle sector for him though also. Now heading around the long right-hander, now down the back straight, heading into the hairpin. He's going to have to enable his DRS on time, of course. But yeah, anyways, heading into the hairpin currently. I don't have much else to say, literally. Yeah, going down into the hairpin, now going down into gear 1, short shifting on the exit here and going down into the final corner now. Is he going to be able to improve on his lap? Because he will need to. It's not going to be looking so good. He hasn't invalidated, which is lucky for him. He's done a 30.5. Those are 15 thousandths that he's just put up on his lap time. He's not going to be able to improve anymore, and that is going to be his qualifying done. But now it's all eyes on Sam Cole to see if he can put a better lap in than Placky. Also typical F1, our championship leader, heading through the final corner. Is he going to be able to take pole from FRA Placky? He does a 31.0, which puts him P4. He isn't able to take provisional pole away from Placky unless Sam Cole has something to say about it. Heading into the hairpin, which is pretty much the penultimate braking zone, and now here through the penultimate corner, really nice short shifting on the exit. Now heading into the final corner, he's gonna back off his lap, so he won't be fighting for pole position here. FRA Placky seems to have achieved pole position, as no one else seems to have challenged him. FRA Elysian has done a 130.815, which makes it a McLaren 1-2 currently on the grid. AMS Max is 600 up on his lap time. He might have something to say about that though. FRT Venom now head around the final corner. He puts a P2 to 30.6 from him. He's missed out on pole by a couple of thousandths of a second, but he's done a very good lap there to separate the two McLarens. FRT JT is going to back off his lap time. He's not going to push any longer. NUFC Ryan now heading through the final corner. He seems to have his lap hooked up pretty nicely so far. Heading across the line, it's P11, a strategic pole position for him. AMS Max seems to be the next person to cross the line. He runs slightly wide though, and he's invalidated his lap time. He didn't improve at all though, so that wouldn't have counted either way. The next person to cross the line is the Ferrari of AZX Flames. I believe he isn't able to put his car any higher up the grid than he currently has it, and that is qualifying for now, I believe. Is NUFC Ryan getting another chance? I'm not sure. But yeah, that is qualifying for ICR round 3 here in China for tier 1. Plaki takes pole position. Venom in P2. P3 is taken by Elisen. Sam Cole takes P4 on a 130.8. Top 4 separated by not much from each other, so we should see a lot of battling between them. Don't count out 2D or Max either. They've been looking very solid all qualifying, so we could have a pretty interesting battle on our hands. The top 6 looking very solid. Fingerboy in P7, typical F1, is going to have to pull off an amazing comeback from P8 to try and hang on to its championship lead that he's currently clinging onto. NEF's Limpjet, in P9 on a 31-0. FRT JT in P10, just missing out on strategic pole position, which has been taken by NUFC Ryan. Tice W in P12, F1 bad F1 Opinions in P13, AZX Flames in P14, and FRT Evan in P15, APL Tellurium in P16, and ETE MX Seb rounds out the grid in P17. Sorry for all those mistakes, but we shall return in a moment for the race, so make sure you don't go anywhere. And stay tuned for the race, which should come up shortly in around 3-4 minutes. I am going to go get a drink because why not? Here we are. We are back for ICR round 3, which seems to be a pretty gloomy day here at Shanghai. We might see chances of rain. I'm not too sure. Only the drivers will know about the weather, so we will be uncertain about the current weather situation. Plaki is on pole position, taking the drivers around the grid very slowly. Both Elisen and I believe that's Evan are AFK on the grid. They haven't moved from their grid spot, so that is very interesting for them. I'm not sure what's going to happen once they get round. And we can see the predicted tyre strategy, but if rain comes, that won't matter. It's a soft, medium, or soft, hard, medium currently predicted. Now, yeah, there we go. Anyways. Yeah, both Elysian and Evan have confirmed that they are stuck on the grid. So I'm not sure if a restart will happen. But yeah, currently Placky is the one that leads the way for the drivers that are remaining on this formation lap. Placky leads from FRA Venom. Elysian is still on the grid and will have stone cold tires if he's going to start the race like this. You can see, I can see just slightly, he's dropped under the 60 degrees mark, I believe. Sam Cole in P4, 2D 4210 in P5, AMS Max in P6, Fingerboy in P7, Typical F1 in P8, Limpjet in P9, FRT JT in P10, NUFC Ryan on P11. I believe he's taken the medium compound tire. With that, free choice of strategy ties the same. Bad F1 Opinions opted for the sauce. EasyX Flames has gone for the hards. So has Tellurium, and MX Seb has gone for the medium compound tire. Evan now has been taken off, going onto the grid, and there's been chaos with the AFK drivers going onto the grid here. And there should be a restart coming soon, because they can't start the race like this, if I'm honest. I think Elysian's been given control back. This looks like an AI driving though, which is the problem. And Evan is also facing a wall right now. Both Elysian and I think drivers are starting to leave the lobby. It should be a restart. Yeah, bruh. Okay. So we will be restarting the race, and yeah, so we will be back shortly for HFRL. Sorry for these delays. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, this game has just been so off this year, but yeah, we shall be back pretty soonly, and yeah, make sure to tune back in. Hello everyone, and we are finally back for HFRL. So yes, sorry about the delay. It was pretty unfortunate, but anyway, we are back, and that's all that matters. So here we are, quicker grid revision. Placky on pole position, FRT Venom in P2, FRA Leeson in P3, Sam Cole in P4, TD4210 in P5, AMS Max in P6, Fingerboy in P7, Typical F1 P8, Limpjet P9, FRT JT P10, NUFC Ryan in P11, Tice W in P12, Brad F1 Opinions P13, AZX Flames P14, FRT Evan in P15, APL Telerium in P16, and ETE MX Seb rounds out the grid. So the bottom 7 drivers obviously have free choice of tyre once again, but the top 10 drivers have had to stick to the tyres they qualified on. So no matter what, they will be starting on the softs, and everyone behind them has had another choice of what strategy they want to do, which might be a benefit, might be a downside, but we don't know. We shall see. The top 10 drivers will have fresh softs, so they will be very explosive at the start of the race, the first few laps. But tyre degradation is pretty high here at China, so should change the playing field quite a lot. Placky now, as he heads around the hairpin, with some small little burnout there. He has backed up the grid quite a bit, not pushing too hard on this formation lap, and the AI is going to take control of the drivers. So FRA Placky, currently P3 in the championship, has a clear road in front of him for the Chinese Grand Prix. This is his opportunity to make inroads. He's currently 14 points behind Typical F1 down in P8, and currently 10 points behind Sam Cole in P4. So all he needs to do is start from first and finish first. It does sound it's easier said than done, but we are going to be in for a pretty good race. Top 6 drivers seem to have very good pace so far this weekend, so we're going to have to see how they cope with that. But now, here we are on the grid. We've got 3, 4, 5 red lights in front of the drivers, and it's lights out and away we go. Seems to be a pretty decent start for Placky here. Not getting off to the best of starts though, as Venom is going to tuck behind in the slipstream. There's going to be 3 wide in the background. 2D is going to hang around the outside of Fingerboy. Fingerboy trying to make the move for P4, and he's going to go to the inside now, the outside for the next corner. He's not going to be able to make that move stick. AMS Max is going to follow through. He's up into P5 now, and Fingerboy's down to P6. Sam Cole in P7. He's had a pretty bad start from P4 on the grid. Typical F1 down in P8. He's going to go side by side with FRT JT. JT's going to send it. He's not going to be able to make it stick. Tice now might be able to capitalize. He won't just yet, as Limpjet makes a move round the outside of him. Currently Placky leads from Venom, but Venom is all over the back of Placky so far at the start of this race. He's not giving up just yet, as that seems to be a spin for someone, and it looks like Telerium so far doesn't seem to have some front end downforces. He was struggling through there. I think he's lost the right hand side of his front wing, and yes he has, but now Venom is closing in a lot on Placky now, heading down this back straight. Is he going to be able to get a move done into the hairpin? He's going to be burning his ERS slightly, only for the start of the straight though. Placky now, how hard is he going to defend? That's the main question. If he is going to have an opportunity to get past, he is going to break the slipstream and stick behind him. But AMS Max is going to go for a huge send on 2D, and Max is up into P4 now, and he's got his sight set on Leeson. It's currently it's a McLaren Mercedes 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, that's very consistent for them. I don't know how to put it, but Limpjet now, he's going to go around the outside of Typical F1, heading down into turn 1. That seems to be a spin for someone. That's FRT Venom, sorry, not Evan. Keep getting the two mixed up. But yeah, he has had a moment at turn 1. I'm not sure what happened to him there. He's now down to P10, which has completely opened up the race. Seems to have been in contact with Leeson, as he's also lost positions, and I think he's lost an end plate as well, or just got some damage, because he is letting drivers through. and that isn't good for his races. He did look very good for this weekend, but he isn't going to be able to come home with those points that he needs for McLaren. So now it's a Mercedes 1-2, and Placky is very much clear of Max right now. 2 seconds separates them. 2D now is going to be really starting to close in and have an opportunity to make a move pretty soon. Sam Cole now up into P5. He has to make some moves pretty quickly, as Tellerium seems to have had a spin at the exit of turn 2, and Fingerboy's going to go side by side with 2D. He's got that move done. Now Sam Cole needs to get this move done on him as well. His Haas teammate is going to give him the slipstream down the back straight. 2D's going to try and go to the outside here. Of the two Haas's, is he going to make the move stick on either of them? Sam Cole seems to get in front. Fingerboy is slightly behind. They make some slight contact. Fingerboy's going to still try and keep it there, and Sam Cole's going to give him the slipstream for the next corner. 2D gets the move done, but he's now going to have a disadvantage on the exit because he ran slightly deep now. He's got the slipstream heading into turn 1. It's way stronger than what 2D is receiving from Sam Cole. He has to back out slightly. Isn't close enough to go for that lunge. Down into turn 1. Elysian comes into the pits. Not so surprising after that incident, the potential incident with FRT Venom. Now as MX Seb is trying to set up a move on Evan here, doesn't seem to have the best exit that he wants to try and close in enough, but yeah. JT started P10 in this race, I believe. He's already up into P6. He's doing pretty well so far in these opening laps of this Chinese Grand Prix. I was about to say Italian, but anyways, as JT now, he starts closing on Fingerboy. DRS is enabled on this lap. Sam Cole is just going to lose the helping of DRS from Placky. That's going to be pretty from Max, sorry. That's going to be pretty huge, as now 2D has an opportunity to overtake going down this back straight. He's going to have the DRS. He's going to have a slight ERS advantage, very, very slight, but now heading down into the hairpin. Is he going to be close enough? It doesn't seem so. Nor is Fingerboy, nor is JT, but JT's going to send it. 2D has gone for a move as well. 2D has spun it around. JT has had a half spin there, and he's managed to keep it on the circuit going into the hairpin. 2D has come back on the circuit in a very weird manner. He's managed to hold on to P6, not lose any more positions. Limchet now is starting to close in on his teammate. Is he going to go for the move into turn 1? It doesn't seem like he will. He is going to play it as safe as possible here, and keep his car safe on track. Evan now starting to close in onto the back of Ryan. He isn't finding a way past here. It's going to be a bit of a struggle in this DRS train. A bit of contact between him and MX Seb there. MX Seb is now going to start getting a bit feisty on the exit of turn 2, I believe. I'm not sure what corner it is. Now heading into the hairpin of that must be, yeah, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was turn 3 to be fair, but it's technically turn 2 in my books. FRT JT has had a spin going through the sort of S's section. Now MX Seb is going to have a nice look at Ryan going down the inside, going down the inside. He forces him slightly wide. They bang side pods quite a bit, and they're losing out to Ryan out in front. Ryan's going to gain a lot from this, and MX is going to hang on to the inside line. Evan's going to hang around on the outside, but that's going to turn to the inside for the next corner. He's managed to get in front, but at what cost? As they've lost a lot of time, they managed to keep the DRS, but that is a lot of time that has cost them to just hang on to that battle. Fingerboy now is going to switch positions with Sam Cole, and so the Alfa Romeos, they're both going to switch positions. NEFC Ryan gets past Tice as well. 2D now seems to be in a battle with FRT Venom, and Venom has managed to get the better of that battle. He's capitalized. He's up into P6 again. Is he going to have a nice move set up on Litjet? He's got a very nice exit out of the final corner. He's not going to have enough of a slipstream to send it going down into turn 1. He's going to I'm sure he was thinking about it, but he knew he wasn't close enough. That it would be a very dangerous move. Evan now back side by side with MX Seb. MX Seb seems to have gotten the better of them in this battle, but now Evan's going to try and get a switchback, which is going to invite AZX Flames to the inside there. He's not got enough grip on the hard compound tires to make that move stick. FRT Evan now, he's going to be closing in back on MX Seb. Is he going to go for the send just yet? No, he's not, as NEFC Ryan loses out on V-Tice W. So the midfield battle is looking very strong right now, or sort of backmarker battle if you want to call it that. the bottom 8 drivers are definitely having some very good battles right now, and or bottom 9 actually having some very solid battles right now for position. As TD has a bit of a moment on the exit, going through the long right hander. Typical now is going to be trying to set up a move on him. He's got the slipstream. He's going to be burning his ERS. So is 2D, but he's got the DRS advantage. So heading in to the hairpin, he's not got a slipstream there, and 2D's also got the DRS. So 2D has the straight line speed advantage, but Typical's going to send it going into the hairpin. He's managed to make it stick, but is 2D going to get the exit he wants? No, he is not. MUFC Ryan has managed to get past Tice. Tice doesn't have the grip on the exit to hold on to the position either. Someone's coming to the pits. That's 2D. He seems to have struggled enough on those soft compound tyres. He's going to come into the pits, and he has retired in the pit lane. He's not happy with how his race has gone so far. Tyson now and Ryan are still battling. Tice has managed to get the better of that battle. MX Seb has pulled away slightly from Evan. Evan has lost a bit of time to MX Seb. ACS Flames has lost a lot of time back to Evan, and the rest of the field is pretty evenly spaced out, if you ask me. But yeah, Placky still leads by some margin. AMS Max in P2, Fingerboy in P3, Samco P4, FRT Evan Venom. Their names are just so similar. I'm used to his name being FRA Venom and TRT Venom, because that's initially what I knew him by. So it's a weird adjustment to make, but especially when the two names are combined together. So yeah, FRT Evan Venom. I literally just talked about it. In P5, Limpjet is behind him. Typical F1 follows that train now, heading down into the hairpin. Fingerboy has pulled away slightly from his teammate Sam Cole, so seems to have a slight pace advantage on the drivers around him. AZX Flames is the first driver to get a penalty this evening. He's got a 3-second time penalty for track limits, I believe. Fingerboy heading through the final corner seems to have gone a pretty nice line. FRT Venom is coming into the pits for his first stop of the Grand Prix, so this is a pretty early stop for him. See what tyres he's going on to. Seems it's going to be the hards, so he's going to try one stop from soft to hard here, or he's going to hope for a safety car, which will allow him to put back on the soft compound tyre. So that is a very interesting strategy that he's trying there. MX7 now, he's closing in on NEFC Ryan. Is he going to be able to be close enough? Heading down into turn 6 now. He's got the slipstream on him. He's not going to have the pace to overtake going into the hairpin there. Going on board with the Limpjet. Is he going to be close enough to get a move on Sam Cole here? Sam Cole hasn't had much pace so far this race. He dropped down to P8 at the start and is currently back up to his starting position in P4, nearly smashing into the back of Sam Cole, taking them both out of the race, but he manages to stay on the circuit. MXM runs wide slightly, I think, and EFC Ryan manages to get the position. Tice drops the position. People coming to the pits. Fingerboy, AMS Max, and Typical F1 are all coming into the pits right now. NEFC Ryan has passed him. Tice has also passed his teammate of MX. Evan is starting to close in onto this battle and try to get involved, hopefully, which is what he's hoping to do. Oh, I need to turn my brightness. Invite bad F1 opinion. How's the stream not working, but you've commented on it then? He's back in the lobby, that's fine. I wasn't looking at chat, sorry. That's my bad for that, but Limpjet is starting to close in slightly on Sam Cole. FRA Placky has pulled away quite a bit. 7 seconds separates him and Sam Cole, one of his championship protagonists, one of his championship rivals. Sam Cole lets Limpjet through. He won't get the DRS though, so Limpjet is going to have a huge slingshot down this back straight. He's going to be gaining a lot of time. AZX Flames gets past ETA MX7. They're going to go side by side down the back straight, but AZX Flames might get the position. He's got the DRS advantage. ETA MX7 isn't going to give it up that easily though. Is he going to send one to the inside? No, he's not. He locks up slightly. FRA Placky is into the pits. Is Limpjet going to follow him in? He's going to stay out. Sam Cole is going to come into the pits, however. And now ETMX7 nearly takes out EZX Flames as he dives into the pit lane. Tice now is going to be in a battle with Bad F1 Opinion. Here's Tice now goes to the inside. He manages to make the move stick. Bad F1 Opinions loses out, but he's going to go for the switchback, heading through the long right hander of turn 1, now turn 2. He's going to stick to the inside, but now turns to the outside for the next corner here at turn 3. Now going through turn 4. Is he going to get the switchback going down the street? No, he's not. But he's got a pretty decent exit. He's still in dive bomb range of Tice. Now is he going to send it heading into the hairpin at turn 6? They made a bit of contact, rear wing to bumper there, but front wing to bumper there, but Bad F1 Opinions is through into P5 unless Tice has managed to make it stick, but he's gone to the inside and he's managed to make it work, but for a very short amount of time only, trying to go around the outside through the right hander, now into the double left hander. Huge snap of overstay for Tice as the Bad F1 Opinions run wide, and Tellurium is going to get a penalty as well, which I think that's a track limits penalty, but Bad F1 Opinion holds on to P5. I'm very sorry for this. But anyway, as that's a spin for AZX Flames on the exit of the right hander. He's retired from the session on track. So if that brings out a safety car, there will be some major discussions about the events of this race afterwards. But that is unfortunate for him. He has given up after that spin, which is very unfortunate idea. Limpjet managed to find a way to come into the pits now. He is going to be on way fresher tyres towards the end, but he's gone for medium, so he's going to be going for most likely what's going to seem like a 2-stop strategy. I don't think the mediums can go 18 laps around this circuit, so well, 19 to be fair if we're counter properly, so it will be a very high risk strategy for him to go for. FRA Placky is already closing in on Tice. He's going to be a pit stop up on the Dutchman now. He's going to go to the inside. He made the move stick. Bad F1 Opinion now is going to have to try and follow him through, but he wasn't close enough. He's seen that Placky's gone through and he wants to follow him through, but he knows he can't. He knows he hasn't got the pace right now to stick with Placky and maximize that pace that he carried through there. He's now going to lose out slightly to Tice, and Tice has now got that DRS gap that he needs to pull away to stay in front of Bad F1 Opinions going through their last few laps of their strategy. That's a bit of a moment for Bad F1 Opinions. He's getting a bit slidey on the exit. He isn't too confident going onto the pedal, but now AMS Max, he's got the slipstream. He's going to go to the outside line. He's going to use his DRS to his advantage. He flies past Bad F1 Opinion and he's up into P5. Bad F1 Opinion is really struggling right now as he locks up again heading into the hairpin. It's just a sequence of mistakes after mistake for him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes into the pitch just now, and yes he does. He runs wide. Lucky there's no gravel on the exit there, as he might have got caught up in a barrier. Sorry about that. I am back. So yeah, we're gonna go on board with typical F1. Is he gonna be close enough to send it on Fingerboy heading down into the hairpin? He's gonna buy his time nicely. He knows he's in a championship fight, and he knows that Fingerboy's got nothing to lose here. So he knows what's at stake. So he knows who he's fighting with and how hard he's gonna fight them. He's gonna knock down each driver one by one to try and get back to the front of the field. Limjet gets a fast lap of the Grand Prix. Typical F1 goes to the inside, heading into turn 1. Has the move made and makes the move stick slightly, but Fingerboy's gonna go back at him, heading through turn 2. Now turn 3, he's going to have a very aggressive line through there. Typical F1's going to hang on to the inside line. He's not going to have the traction on the exit to stick with him. Fingerboy is still in P7. Now Sam Cole is going to have an opportunity to attack. He's going to dive to the inside, locks off very aggressively, and has gone slightly deep. Typical F1 isn't going to get the switchback and seems to really be struggling in some way, shape or form, as he's not getting the mechanical grip on exits he needs to stay in front. Someone asked, how many warnings does FRT Venom have? I can check for that quickly. He has 1 warning so far. I believe I checked that right by somewhere. Anyway, yeah. No worries to whoever asked that. Yeah, typical F1 pushing quite a bit in this Grand Prix. Fingerboy now, he's pulling away slightly, and he does have the ERS advantage to most of the people behind him, apart from Limpjet. Limpjet has done very well on conserving his ERS. He manages to get past Typical here, going down the back straight now, and he's going to be able to push and try and make a move on Fingerboy. Heading down into turn 1. Is he going to be close enough? No, he's not. 6/10 separates them, and that's just not close enough for him to be able to gain and make the move on top of that. NUFC Ryan leads the way. We can go on board with him for a short while. FRT Evan is closing in on him. He's just starting to chase him and hunt him down in this stage of the race. ETMX Seb gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. NUFC Ryan is starting to pull away slightly, but FRT Evan looks very confident so far on these medium compound tires, but he's not managed to get past him for this entire race essentially, and he stayed behind was sort of a mini train that formed between him, Ryan, and MXEB and a few other drivers. So he isn't having the best of races, is Evan, but he is going to be trying to get this move done on NUFC Ryan pretty soon, as it will play a crucial role in the strategy game here at China. But now, going down the back straight, he's going to deploy his DRS. Is he going to make any sort of inroads? No, he's not. He's barely got any ERS to fight with, and barely any ERS to burn in the tank. So yeah, as NUFC Ryan heads around the final corner, FRT Evan, he's going to dive into the pits for a set of hard compound tires, I believe, to take to the end, as someone joins who wasn't in the race initially. We put both headphones on, maybe. As a typical F1 now, he's going to be pretty enthusiastic on getting a move done shortly on Fingerboy, but he just doesn't have the ERS, and you can see Fingerboy has burnt his ERS quite a bit, to be fair, and Limpjet has done well. Actually no, it was Limpjet that conserved well, so Fingerboy's actually conserved pretty well to get from I think, what was it, 20 up to 40, but he's now burning it slightly just after Limpjet has overtaken him. So they're doing very well. The two Marks now, very close proximity of each other, so Max might have to let his teammate through. His teammate was way behind him at one point, so you can see that he has very good pace. Just whether he's willing to let him through and play the team game, that's a different story. So gonna have to see if he's gonna be willing to give up his position for his teammate. Heading round the long right-hander, I think Venom is in an place to overtake, heading down into the hairpin. But yeah, he's got a slipstream. He's got the DRS enabled deployed, but he's not got enabling his ERS. Heading into the hairpin, he's not close enough for a move, but he has to lock up slightly just to avoid an incident, which might be a bit of a sign for the two Mercs. They might be running too close together and might be at risk for a potential collision later on in the race, which they aren't even aiming for. So yeah, as typical F1 gets past Fingerboy, the move for P7 right now, and Sam Cole is starting to close in a lot on Fingerboy. Is he going to be let through though? He's going to go to the inside through turn 2. He's going to try it. They've made slight contact. He's now going to need to try and switch it back. Heading through turn 3. Is he going to be able to hold on to that? No, he's not. He's got the slipstream now. He's going to burn his ERS. Heading down into the hairpin at turn 6. And Fingerboy is fighting this pretty heavily. For someone that is his teammate and fighting for the championship here in Tier 1, he manages to get through. But that has cost him quite a bit of time to Typical. And Typical is the person he needs to make games on here in the championship. So Fingerboy could have cost him so many points in this championship battle, and this could potentially put Sam Cole in an even worse position in this championship battle. So if you're just tuning in, NEFC Ryan leads the way. He hasn't pit yet currently on the hard compound tyres, which he started the race with. FRA Placky is currently our net race leader in P2 right now, doing a very, very good job so far. Tice follows him in P3. I don't believe he stopped yet either. Two Mercs follow him, and they're both on a hunt for some solid points tonight. As Max doesn't have the DRS there, pretty interestingly. 2 DNF so far in this race, AZX Flames and TD4210. TD just retired because of probably what he thought was just for bad luck in a race, and AZX Flames retired on track after a spin going through the long right hand at the end of start of Sector 3. Now ETMX Seb gets past Elisen as he comes into the pits for a set of medium compound tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix. Not a single safety car yet this race. So things are running pretty smoothly as FRTJT manages to get past Telerium as he comes into the pits. FRT Venom is starting to close in a bit on his teammate and V-Tice. They are both working together pretty well to close in on the drivers ahead of them, but yeah, Max is not close enough on this occasion to get past Tice. It seems. Is he going to be close enough heading down into turn 1? Seems to be struggling a bit for grip on these hard compound tyres currently, but he's now going to probably send it heading down into the long right hander here. He's going to go all the way to the outside. He's not going to be going for a move instantly, but he's going to try and make it stick on the inside here. He's not managed to hold it, but he's now going to get a switchback going through turn 3. Is he going to have enough traction to get on the power nice and early for moving to turn 6? He's got a very nice exit through there and through turn 5. Now the hairpin at turn 6. He's going to try and go for the move. He goes late on the brakes, head around the outside. He short shifts on the exit up to gear 4, now gear 5. He's got past Tice, and now Venom is going to have a look at him going into the left hander. Now the right hander. Is he going to be able to stick it around the outside? Yes, he is. So far, is he going to have the inside line for the double left hander? Yes, he will do, and he's managed to get past, go through the first half of it, and now the second half he's through, and he's past V-Tice W. So yeah, as Venom seems to be able to, he is probably going to go for a move on Max soon. His teammate isn't necessarily being held up, but he isn't necessarily gaining too much out of staying behind in the slipstream of his teammate all race. He's gonna go to the inside, try and break the slipstream, but now going late on the brakes here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like the two Mercs are going to budge anytime soon, as typical F1 goes round the to the inside of Sam Cole, forcing him right off the circuits. Typical didn't even make the corner himself. Sam Cole is up into P7, the 2 championship protagonists, going right at it. Reminds me of something similar that happened last year, but yeah, typical F1 down into P8. Sam Cole has managed to get past, so so yeah, so pretty interesting defending there from Typical, or attacking, whichever way it was. He did force him right off the circuit. He didn't even make the corner himself, surprisingly. So very interesting tactic from him there. Did Limpcha already stop? I do not believe so. I need to check that. I don't think he has. He has, sorry. He did start on the softs, didn't he? I zoned out slightly, so yeah, Limpcha has pit. Everyone that started inside the top 10 has essentially pit. I think the only person that hasn't pit just yet is NUFC Ryan, and most likely Vitas W hasn't pit as he comes into the pits just now. So I believe the only person yet to stop is NUFC Ryan, who currently leads the way on those hard compound tires. FRT Venom is really closing in on his teammate here. AMS Max, he's not close enough just yet though to try and get that move done, but he's very close to the back of his teammate. His teammate might have to let him through here. I'm not sure why they haven't swapped positions just yet, but now heading into the hairpin of turn 6, he's very close to him and he's not going to be able to make a move. Bad F1 Opinions gets past Tice on this strategy game. FRA Elisen gets fast lap on a 134.2. As Venom's really starting to close in on AMS Max, heading into the hairpin. Is he going to be close enough? They've made a bit of contact there, and they've been really close to each other the entire race, and that is the first bit of contact they've seen to made. They've done lockups to avoid incidents, and he's going to come into the pits. He seems to have suffered some front wing damage, so the 2 Mercs not switching has somewhat backfired. As now he's coming into the pits for a set of soft compound tires. He's changing the front wing as well, so he's lost out quite a bit, and he will be outside the top 10 when he comes out the pit lane. So he will have to do a lot of fighting to get back up the field and get back to the position which he was in before, and take that P3, which has completely opened up Sam Cole's championship chances, as now he's got a chance to fight for P2, which will give him the championship lead if he can stay in front of Typical. As it stands right now, he won't get the lead actually. Typical hang on to it by 1 point. If he gets P2, if the race finishes like this, so Placky, then Sam Cole, then Typical. If the race finishes like that, Typical will lead the championship by 1 point, and Sam Cole will be second, obviously 1 point off the lead, and then Placky will be close behind, 4 points away from the lead of the championship. So 4 people will separate the top 3. But Max is currently splitting that gap, and that's giving him a pretty huge advantage, as now Placky will be P2 in the championship by 2 points. If this race was to finish like this, as considering NUFC Ryan will miraculously do a no stop, and the game will somehow allow it, then yeah. Nothing much is happening right now, to be honest. The field is spreading out slightly, so yeah, we might as well take a look at driver of the day. Currently, NFC Ryan is in a very good shot for it, but of course he unfortunately still has to pit. When he does pit though, it's still a mystery, as he has been out for a very long time on these hard compound tires. He's just putting in consistent laps and doing what he needs to do, to be fair. So commend him for what he's doing right now in this race. FRT Evan seems for a good shot of driver of the day. He's had a pretty good race so far. MX Seb also has a very good chance, but I'd say Evan just edges himself slightly, of course, because of the gap between the two drivers. Comment down below who you think your driver of the day is so far in this race, or if you're watching the stream after the race on YouTube, make sure to put it down in the comments. Potentially put it down in the comments. Hopefully a decision will be made by then, but still there's no harm in trying. But anyways, NFC Ryan still yet to pit, and as soon as I say that, he comes into pit. Brilliant. Yeah, he will be pitting for his one and only stop of the race. He's done a very good first strategy now, but FRA Placky retakes the lead of this Chinese Grand Prix, and yeah, as Limpjet gets passed by F1 Opinions, NFC Ryan, let's see where he comes out, because this might be a very crucial stop for him, and Evan now is going to be coming across the start finish straight, I believe. He's not going to be close enough to overtake Ryan, but he's going to have some momentum to at least catch up to him. He's not going to have enough to get close enough to go and try and make the move on the exit of the pit lane. So NFC Ryan is up into P6. He's done a very well there for himself with that first stint. He's done a very good job. Keep himself in a very good position, currently in P6, and could potentially take the fight to Fingerboy towards the end of the race, and maybe even Typical, maybe even Sam Cole, we never know. So it's all to play for in these dying laps of the Chinese Grand Prix. NFC Ryan has a lot of work to do in these last few laps. He's left himself minimal laps to try and get these positions back. So only 6 laps, which is now going to turn into 5.5 now, as he comes around the long right hand and now down the back straight. So FRT Evan Venom down in P9 has had a very unfortunate race. That's been essentially just ruined his race entirely. He's now going to be closing in on MX Seb. Is he going to be close enough for a send? Doesn't seem so. He's going to go deep there slightly, as MX Seb is very, very slow on those hard compound tires under the braking. Now heading through the final corner. Is he going to have the move set up nicely? He has some very nice rotation, use of the curve to rotate the car around. It's not going to be a very hard move for him there. He's going to choose the outside line. Should be able to hang on to the position, and yeah, Seb is going to try and fight it back, but there's not going to be much he can do. He's gone to the inside, but those hards are very, very struggling a lot, sorry, for grip. They're very, very worn, and they're struggling a lot for grip. So yeah, that's unfortunate on his part. Venom now 7 seconds separates him and Evan. Venom's is separated between him and Evan by 7 seconds. It's just a tongue twister at this point. Like, he is going to have to do some major laps to try and pull that gap back together. But NFC Ryan has really, really closed in on Fighter Boy here. He might be able to get a move done going down into the hairpin now. 6/10 separates him and the harsh driver now. He's going to burn his ERS. Finger Boy now has not much to fight with. He's going to use his DRS. He should be turning off the ERS soon, though. He's got the move done. He's up into P5 now. Is he going to be able to get typical? He's gone slightly deep there, but Fingerboy isn't going to be able to capitalize here. These soft compound tires is a very good tire here around China, as it is a very technical circuit for grip levels. So he will be gaining a lot in these first few laps of this stint, but he needs to maximize these softs while they're fresh, because they will start to even out with the hards towards the end of the race, as they will start to die down very, very, very quickly. But he's doing all he can right now to try and close in. He could potentially get a podium in this race. You can see he's already got a DRS gap to him and typical. You might be able to get a move done even earlier than the DRS line, preferably for him not, as he will want to try and keep the momentum to catch back up to Sam Cole. And yeah, you can see how confident he is going through this sort of X section and now going down into the double left-hander. He's closing in a lot. 6 tenths separates him. That was the gap between him and Fingerboy last lap. And talking about Fingerboy, he's pulled 2.3 seconds from him in less than a lap. You can see how quick those softs are, and you can see how they're coming alive towards the end of this race now. He's got the slipstream, and he's got a very nice line going through the long right-hander, going down the back straight now. 5 tenths separates him and typical F1. Typical F1 has got no ERS to fight with, and now NUFC Ryan, he's going to be burning his ERS. He's going to use his DRS. He's going to go to the outside again. Once again, he's low on ERS, but he's got the move done. He's up into P4. That's all he needs to do so far, but one move left for him to get a podium in this Grand Prix from P11 at the start of this race. Could potentially finish on the podium. That's a 3-second time penalty here for him there as he rolls over the curbs. That is a huge mistake he has made. And that could be crucial to define whether he gets a podium or not in this Grand Prix. Heading through turn 1, he goes slightly deep and cuts back to the inside for turn 2, but now he has a lot more work to do. He has to get past Sam Cole and pull 3 seconds in 2 laps to try and take a podium in this race. He's now 300ths up on his fastest first sector, which is a very, very quick lap first sector so far on these soft compound tires. He might be able to take fastest lap. Headed through here, he's really starting to push. It's almost quali laps for him at this rate. He needs to do a lot of work though to try and get this podium off of Sam Cole. He essentially needs to catch up to AMS Max to be able to get a podium in this race. So he's going to be trying to get that switch back on Sam Cole, get a very nice line going through the long right-hander now. He's going to be staying towards the inside line. He's got a very, very good run out of the corner now. He's got the slipstream. He's going to use his ERS very nicely now. He's going to deploy the DRS. He's going to choose the outside line again, I believe. Sam Cole is going to defend the outside. He's going to let NUFC Ryan have the inside line. NUFC Ryan is up into P3, but now Sam Cole has 2 laps to put the best laps in of this race to try and stay within those 3 seconds he needs to get a podium in this Grand Prix. These points are going to be huge for this championship battle. Currently, typical F1 has lost out 15 points to Ferrari Placchi, which will cost him the championship lead, and that is exactly what Placchi needs. And now Sam Cole is going to be losing out to Placchi on top of that, as the points that he's going to lose to him today are 13. So he really needs to stick with NUFC Ryan. He is the only hope at this rate for them to still be in a chance to stay with the lead of the championship at the end of this race. But Ryan is starting to push them now, but he's 2 tenths down in this lap. You can see he's barely got any grip left in these tyres. He's starting to struggle slightly, and now he's only managed to pull away 6 tenths of a second to Sam Cole. He's not doing too much for himself, and now Placchi's only hope now is Ryan to try and pull away from Sam Cole and typical F1. He runs slightly wide on the exit there. That could be 2 warnings for him as he runs wide twice going through that section of corners. Typical F1 now might well lose out to Ryan, because Ryan is starting to struggle on these soft compound tyres in these dying phases of this Grand Prix. Sam Cole has got the DRS. This is huge for the Haas driver. He is going to have a major chance to try and take a podium in this race. NUFC Ryan is starting to push as hard as he can. It's going to be one lap one lap showdown between the two. He's going to need to pull away as much as possible. He's going to need to pull away another 2.2 seconds. And as that stands right now, he needs to overtake AMS Max to hold on to P3. AMS Max is starting to slow down slightly. But he's still gaining on Placky, so it's mainly Placky just slowing down in general. He's only got to do this last lap and he will win this Chinese Grand Prix. AMS Max knows that he's got P2 locked in, but he just needs to hold on to these in these final few laps. Now NUFC Ryan, he's gonna have a second gap heading into sector 2 cents down on his lap time so far, so it's around a second now. He needs to pull away a second a sector to try and get a podium in this race. It's going to take some major effort for him to try and get a podium here, but it doesn't seem, as each corner passes, it seems less and less likely that he's going to be able to do it. He might be able to get those 3 seconds on Typical though, and Typical seems to be struggling in quite a lot here. But as it stands now, he is going to be P5 in this Grand Prix, but he's just gaining those few minor tenths, which are going to make it look like he's going to get very close to trying to take P4 in this race. He's not going to get a podium. It's going to be very tough for him to gain another 1.5 seconds in these final few corners. But one person that has driven flawlessly today is FRA Placky. He comes back on his return. He didn't race last time out in Bahrain. He's going to come across the line. He's going to take another win here in ICR Tier 1. He wins the Chinese Grand Prix. AMS Max takes P2. NUFC Ryan takes P3 on track. Sam Cole takes that from him, P4. Typical F1 runs out of fuel across the line. That's P5 for him. Fingerboy P6, FRT Evan gonna come across the line in P7. FRT Venom takes home a P8. A very disappointing race for him there. So many opportunities for him to do well, and just it didn't come to him. He just had too much misfortune. ETM Seb P9, Limpjet P10, FRA Leeson in P11. Doesn't finish the race. Bad phone opinions. And everyone else is basically not going to be finishing the race, but apart from APL Tellurium, who's going to finish last. But yeah, that has been the race here in Tier 1 for China here at round 3. So Placky will lead the championship, I believe. He'll lead the championship from Sam Cole. Sam Cole is unfortunately going to be tied on points, but is going to lose out on wins. So the top 3 are separated by 1 point so far in this race. This is a championship battle to remember here in ICR. He needs to do very well. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. But ETM Seb gets the Games Driver of the Day. Personally, I believe NUFC Ryan deserves the Driver of the Day. He managed to pull off a brilliant race, and just came short of what could have been a momentous podium in the end. But that small little corner cut at the final corner on lap 26, I believe, or 25, I'm not sure which, was crucial to determining that podium position and those extra 3 points he would have gained. But it's been another round of ICRs. FRA Placky takes the second win, his second win of the season. Out of 3 races, he's done very well so far. AMS Max manages to take P2. P3 is taken by Sam Cole. He's done well for himself. Damage limitation in the championship. Found himself in P8 at the end of lap 1. Manages to take it back to P3. NUFC Ryan in P4. Typical F1 in P5. Fingerboy takes P6-7 in P7. Venom takes P8 with the fast lap, so he will get an extra point for that. ETMX7 P9. P10 is taken by Limpjet. FRA Leeson takes P11. P12 taken by Bad F1 Opinion. VTICE W takes P13. FRT JT takes P14, and APL Tellurium P15, with Flames and 2D the only 2 drivers to DNF this week. But that has been it from ICR today, guys. Make sure to tune in tomorrow and across the whole weekend for more events of racing. We've got tier 2 coming up tomorrow, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Make sure to stay tuned for next week as well, as we head to Portimao, I believe, for the Portuguese Grand Prix. I might be wrong, I'm not too sure, but yeah, make sure to stay tuned, keep in touch with the league, and make sure to tune in for not only tier 1, for tier 2 on Friday, tier 3 on Saturday, tier 4 on Sunday, and tier 5 on Mondays. So that's been it from me, and have a good week, and goodbye.